Hey everybody, I'm here in the Paste Studio with the person who was my first concert ever.
Oh, come on.
Josh Groban.
Seriously?
That's a true story.
Wow. You must have been 5 years old.
Well, we're about the same age. I didn't grow up with a lot of money. That was a detriment to concerts as a child.
Oh, really? Well, going to concerts is such a privilege when you're a kid.
Yes.
I didn't go to that many either, but I was very lucky, as apparently you were too, that you had, the opportunities to go see shows.
Yep.
It's life-changing. I don't think my show was life-changing. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying
was.
when I got to go see live stuff when I was a kid, it just like I'd sit in the audience and I'd say like, oh God, I want to be up there doing that one day. And now here we are on stage.
It's so great.
Yeah.
So
Well, thank you for sharing that. Do you remember what show or what?
Okay, it was in 2000, I want to say 6.
Okay. The
So
Awake
February
tour.
song. Yeah.
Yeah. I believe it was the Awake tour.
Yes.
What city was it?
Greenville, South Carolina.
I was in Greenville, South Carolina. Sure.
Yep, at the
Indoor,
Bilo
show,
Center. It was
outdoors?
indoor.
Indoors. Oh, I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you touched me when you walked through the crowd.
I did?
And my mom and I got
one of
really
these?
excited. Yes!
We did a little high five? I love it. That's awesome.
So, yeah, I was like, oh, I get to talk to Josh Groban.
What a small
Who
world.
goes to a first concert, and at the time I was a stay-at-home mom,
Wow.
and now look at this.
And we're here in New York
Life
City.
is
In New York
weird.
City. Wow. Concrete jungle where dreams are made of.
Right here.
My first concert was New Kids on the Block Christmas tour when I was in 3rd grade.
So cool.
Yeah.
I loved them.
Not had a chance to tell Donnie that yet.
You haven't.
But that was mine. Yeah.
Listen, that dream's going to come true.
Thank you. One day. One day.
I hope he's watching, and he
Donnie, if
contacts
you're
you.
watching, you dressed up as Santa and you break danced. It was amazing. I bought a long sleeper shirt from that show. I was 10. Great.
That is wonderful.
Well,
So that's how,
we've learned a lot here today.
that was kind of my start at going to concerts.
Yeah,
I work for a concert place,
And now you
which
work
is
for
awesome.
now you work for Paste. I'm so delighted to be here. I love Paste. I'm very excited to be here talking to you, and thank you for sharing that delightful anecdote with me.
Well,
Full
you only get to
circle.
share that anecdote once.
Full circle. That's true. You only get to share it once. I'm very forgetful though. Don't worry. We could share it again later.
Yeah, but you're like doing everything. You got
It's busy.
a TV show
Yeah.
with Tony Danza.
Oh yeah.
Here's a question.
Sure.
How many people on this press tour have asked you who's the boss?
Oh, just a couple times. The answer is most definitely him. Both in his legacy and also just on the show. Like he's such like the patriarch of the family in more ways than one on the set. I mean, he's got such a history of obviously of acting and television and
Right.
film and theater as well. But he knows that world so well, and it was obviously very new for me. So no, I definitely leaned on him a lot to learn about the technicalities of having single camera, a show. It's different than anything I've ever done. So now he was the boss, and he took me under his wing for sure.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
It's a great show
Oh, thank you.
with daddy issues.
We had fun. A few. Yeah. Yeah, a few.
Made me wonder about a lot of times a kid will rebel
Yeah.
against what their parents want them to do.
Right.
It's like the opposite.
This kind of flips that on its head.
Right.
Because TJ, my character, is rebelling by being as good as possible. Like his dad was the one. Tony Sr. is based on a real detective, by the way. His
really?
character is based on a real NYPD detective who was brilliant, but also super corrupt. But people also kind of liked him because he was so shameless and wore his heart on his sleeve. And that character was real. My character is made up. But I rebelled against his badness and became too good. So there is a fun kind of family dynamic there, and all the things that influenced TJ to join the force and solve crimes like his dad, but do it in the way that his dad could not. Do it by the book, damn it.
It makes me wonder as a parent if I should be naughtier to make my kids do better.
Oh, interesting. I mean, it's certainly a tactic you could try. I think that if the good cop tells you anything, there are pros and cons to that approach. So there are risks with that as well. I think leading by example is also a really good way to parent.
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah, good.
I hope it
okay,
works.
Good. Yeah, I'm sure your kids are doing just fine. You seem like an awesome parent, don't get any ideas. I mean, you don't have to like suddenly live a life of crime for your kids to be on the straight and narrow. They may just decide, well, that seems really cool, Dad. I'm gonna also join a gang. So don't do that.
Don't do it.
Don't do
but
that.
it did go. That's what went through my mind.
Yeah, but in the world of
As
the
an
good
odd
cop, in the
person.
world of Andy Breckman's brilliant mind, that's the dynamic that came across in the show.
Yeah, and a parole officer. That's kind of an interesting twist as well.
Yeah, well, there's a parole officer on the show played by wonderful Monica Barbaro.
So pretty.
So pretty and so talented. And yes, so she kind of like TJ realizes she's got a real knack for this, and some time passes between the pilot and the second episode.
Right.
We fast forward in TV land, and she too has kind of joins the force. There's a real lack of detectives at that time, and she's able to kind of go through the ranks as well quite quickly. And so yeah, it's a character-driven show. I mean, everybody in the show is so delightful and so funny, and we had so much fun on set getting to know each other and just opening up these scripts every chance we got at the table reads. It was just like a new gift to like, what mystery are we going to solve today? It was just so good-natured, and just we had a really good time.
I like that it's so light.
It is light, yeah. We weren't trying to like out-grizzly, out-edge like every other cop show that's out there. I think every cop show is like trying to like push the boundaries of how much they can get away with. And like I turn on the news every day, I'm just like, yeah, I get to see that. I'm seeing that every day anyway. And we wanted our show to be, kind of a throwback to some of the older kind of detective shows where it was like a whodunit. You could watch it with your family. Shows like Columbo or even the X-Files or even Poirot, if you want to get artsy about it. And just kind of feel good, and other than the murders, it's pretty family friendly.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I thought, this is something we could all watch.
Yeah, and funny.
And my mom would like to, and my sister, like we
Totally.
could sit down as a family and watch it.
We want grandparents and grandkids to watch this show together, and so we were thrilled that Netflix, who as a network has been really very much been pushing the boundaries of what TV can get away with and do, that they weren't afraid to also kind of embrace a show that was more an episodic kind of network style show for that audience, and so we were thrilled to be given the chance.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you.
It was very good.
That means a lot. Thank you.
When you did the show, though, were you thinking, I think I'll release an album on the exact same day?
No, wasn't thinking that at all. I was in the process of making the album when I got the call from Andy Breckman. I got a letter, in fact, from him offering me the role in this show I had no idea existed or was going to be made.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Did you not audition for this
No,
role?
I didn't know.
They just wrote it for you?
I got a letter saying, "Hi, my name is Andy Breckman. You may know me from this, this, and that." I'm like, yes. He created Monk. He wrote for SNL and Letterman. He's brilliant.
Obviously.
And he said, "Look, I want you in my show. I'm serious about this. I've seen some of your stuff. I just think you're right, and I wrote the part with you in mind. And can I take you out for pancakes?" This is like how not Hollywood Andy is. Like there was no like agent audition process. Like he had a vision. He had a vision for me and Tony, and I was scratching my head. Tony was scratching his head. Certainly, it was like me.
Same thing for him?
Yeah, we were both like us together in a cop dramedy, like really. And Andy's like, yes, really. And so we went out to lunch, and me and Tony and Andy went out to lunch, and Tony's regaling us with stories, and I'm talking to him, and I'm bouncing off of Tony, and our natural chemistry is two very different types of people. Andy was like, this is my show. This is it. This is the show. People are going to be confused on paper, but they're going to watch it, and this is the chemistry. And so, yeah, I got the letter. I was gobsmacked to be offered the role, and I said to my manager, I said, this seems fun. Like, I love the script, and I love Tony, and I love Andy. And it's not every day you get offered the title role in a new Netflix show. And I said, I feel inspired by this the same way I felt inspired by my first album, the same way I felt inspired by Great Comet of 1812 on Broadway. I said, this is something new, something for me to learn from, to be scared by, and to dive in. And I said, let's put the music to the side for 4 months. Let's go do this. Let's go do The Good Cop. So I did. I flew to New York, and we went right in, and we shot 10 episodes. And then as soon as that was done, I was like so ready to make music again, because you're on your feet 15 hours a day shooting single cam in a soundstage. You don't see sunlight. And I just had so much music I wanted to get out of my system by the time that shooting was over. I loved every bit of it, but it was time to get back to my day job. And so then we finished up. Netflix, of course, once you slide your show under their door, they don't really tell you right off the bat when they're thinking of putting it out. So I was, in the meantime, mixing the album and just about ready to go on with that. Kind of had put the release of Good Cop kind of out of my head because it was out of my hands. And then suddenly they gave us a date. They're like, we got it. We're going to put it out September 21st. And we're like, you've got to be kidding me. September 20, like that, really? Like we were thinking, we were like within a 2 or 3 week period, that was exactly when Bridges was going to come out. And so we talked to Netflix and we confirmed, we're just like, you know what, to hell with it. Let's just put it all out at the same time. I've been working on this stuff for 2 years. Let's just make that the day, And so no pressure. It's I've never had anything like this in my life, where two babies of mine are kind of released into the world at the same time. But it's fun. I'm so proud of it, and just to be in a place where I have the opportunity to show two sides and put them out at the same time is pretty cool. I'm very, very grateful.
So today is kind of the culmination of 2 years
Yeah.
of work.
Yeah.
Are you saying so when did you film this show? I know that an album takes.
We shot the show last winter. We
Okay.
shot the show. Yeah.
So that's been about a year.
Yeah, almost a year. And it was very cold in all those outdoor scenes. It was snowing in almost all of those. So, every one of those minute-long scenes actually took like 8 hours. So, we're out there just freezing. There's one scene in particular where I'm investigating a dead body with Isaiah Whitlock Jr., a brilliant actor who plays Sergeant Loomis on the show. And we're about to do the scene. I'm just like, I can't feel my mouth. Can you feel your mouth? He's like, no, man, I can't feel my mouth. And we had to say like these kind of tongue twister words. And in the scene, I have to say the word maybe. I could not say the word maybe. Our faces, it must have been 11 degrees. And we were on Roosevelt Island. And he's going, they could have dropped the body 100 feet from the water. I'm going, maybe. Can I fix that in post? I can't say the word. I just can't say the word. I mean, we were frozen.
Oh.
So, next time we've decided if we get a second season, it's going to be the Good Cop Beach Blanket Boogaloo. We're going to film in the summer. It's going to be in the sand. It's going to be great. It's really
Coney
going to be
Island.
fun. Coney Island.
Don't know.
The hot dog caper.
I think that's a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
I think you'll get a second season.
I don't know. We'll see. I hope so. I had a lot of fun. I would definitely return.
Yeah, because you were so funny. You know what's very popular with young kids right now? Well, teenager kids.
I wouldn't know.
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Tell me.
The Office.
Oh, yes.
And so the other day they had gotten to the episode.
Yes. Oh, yes. The garden party.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, oh my word. It's like he's really good.
I had fun. I had fun with that. Mindy Kaling offered me the role in that, and I happened to be playing L.A. the night before, so I was at Staples Center, gave my bow, got home, got like a few hours sleep, and then like 5 o'clock in the morning, drove to this ranch and filmed with like the entire cast of The Office. And of course, as somebody who's obsessed with the show, to be on set, Carell had left at that point,
Right.
but Rainn Wilson and Mindy and B.J. Novak and everybody was on set, and it was just so much fun. To just kind of play, not myself, but like play like this kind of funny musical character was a blast.
Kind of a caricature. I liked
Caricature,
it a lot.
yeah, it was. Yeah, thank you.
But so back to the album.
Yeah.
Because you just threw me with that.
I did.
No
So many-
audition.
so
He
many
just wrote
stories.
for you. That's so cool,
Yeah,
though.
it's very rare. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
Yeah. Couldn't say no.
It's great when stuff like that happens.
Totally agree.
The album, though, is great.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I
Thanks.
loved it. I love the duets.
Thank you. Me too. I'm so happy they all said yes.
Can I also say, and I don't know,
Okay.
but it sounds like it's about someone, the album.
Oh, the album itself?
Yes.
Oh, well.
And some of the songs seem like they're about someone.
Well, the album itself is many
Right,
stories,
many layers.
wrapped in a mystery and an enigma or whatever the line is. But it's look, I wrote 9 out of the 12 songs. So anytime something like that happens, and you have this burst of creative energy, and you've got a lot to say. And I had just come off of doing a musical on Broadway.
Right.
I'd come off of doing a musical theater album, so I had not made new music in quite a few years. So I had a lot in my tank. That was a luxury for me because I had the time to have life experiences, to have things to write about. You got to have things to write about, and so I did. And so I'll never get into specifics about who and what
Well, no.
and where and why. But I will say that every one of those songs comes from a very truthful and vulnerable place of something that I have been or am going through, and whether it's love or loss or both, or even songs like River that are the first time I've dived into topics like anxiety and depression and
Right.
things like that, and how do you write a song that you can hopefully connect to other people who feel alone in that, so like I said, I consider myself a vocalist first and foremost. If I write the song, if I find the song, I just love interpreting so much. I always have. But I was very lucky that the muse was really kind this time. And every time I sat down at the piano, anytime I got to co-write with somebody like Bernie Herms or Toby Gadd or Lester Mendez, these are people that I click so well with. New friends, people like Steve Jordan, who's just one of the greatest producers and drummers alive. They just brought out an energy in me and an excitement in me that I hadn't felt making new music in a long, long time. And so it was all of the things I needed.
Yeah. Do you ever, with songwriting, does something just come to you and you have to do it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that how it always is, or just sometimes is?
I'd say 60% of the time it's a lightning bolt, and you don't know why you're the vessel for that melody. You don't know why it's come to you in the shower. You know, it's always in the most inconvenient place. Or the worst place that a song idea comes to me is when I'm on an airplane, and I'm sitting like cramped against a window, and there's a stranger falling asleep next to me.
Of course.
And I'm going, oh no. No, not now, not now. And you've got a melody that's just in your head. And so you just kind of have to slowly like take your iPhone out and be like,
You do that? That's so cool.
I will like mumble gibberish in a melody into the phone. And then sometimes if I know I need a chord, and I know that there are chords that go underneath that melody, because you can sing the top line into your phone,
right.
but then you could totally forget by the end of the day what the chords were under that top line. So first I'll sing the gibberish of the melody, main melody, and then I'll sing the 3 or 4 notes of the chords in progression afterwards in my notes, and be like da 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 da, and then I'll take that home, and I'll just go and I'll play it, and I'll sit at the piano. And then I'll try and refigure out what it was that I was thinking in that moment, and then I'll re-record at the piano, and then I'll give that, I'll present that at a writing session or something, and that's what will turn out. That's how so many of the songs started. So, it's not a perfect process, but kind of cool when something like that turns into hearing it mixed and mastered with a full symphony at Abbey Road. Like, it's the progression. I think making TV or film is the same way, like a dark corner of your writing room by candlelight,
right.
And suddenly you're watching, Meryl Streep act it out. It's really cool when you can create from that place. A lot of the early years of my career, a lot of songs were just sent in, so you already get a really clean sounding demo. And all you have to do is put your stamp on it.
Right.
The thing I love most about writing is that you get to start from the mud. You get to start from that seed being planted and watch it grow. And that's something there's more of that on this album than any other album that I've done. And so it's, you feel that much more connected to it.
When did you start feeling melodies in your head?
When I was a child.
Really?
I was.
Seriously?
Yes, absolutely. I always had melodies. Music was my language that I was most comfortable with. I played by ear. I got that from my dad. He played jazz trumpet and still plays piano and is an amazing musician. But I had melodies. I just didn't know what they were at the time. I would sit down at the piano after school. I'd have a crappy day at school. I was kind of like, picked on a little bit and just had a hard time making friends. I was antisocial a little bit, kind of shy. And so I'd go home and I'd sit at the piano and like just playing melodies, just improvising. My parents would just leave me alone, and they would just, because I'd get really insecure about it, and so they would just
right.
go upstairs. They'd hear, oh, Josh is playing piano, just let's leave him alone, because they knew it was therapy for me. They knew
right.
it was my way of expressing myself, even if it wasn't to anybody. It was just my way of getting it out. It's why. And we could talk about it, but it's so vitally important that kids get an instrument in their hands, that they get that opportunity to express themselves. Because that piano in my parents' living room saved my life. It saved my life. And it wasn't until I started writing for albums that I realized, like, oh, all of that stuff I was doing as a kid, where I was just plunking things out, seemingly randomly, like, that's a song. That thing that is better than the other thing, well, that's your hook, and that's your B part. And then you got to think of, well, what would lead into that hook. And then you learn about the craft of developing a fully structured song, but it still all comes from the same place. It still comes from the ether, and lyrics don't come to me like that. That's how I know how special it is, because drawing, for instance, I can't draw. The people that can look at something and go, okay, and they see it and they know how to put that onto a piece of paper is sorcery to me. I have no clue how it happens, but my thing that came naturally was melody, was music. And so I'm very lucky that was the case, and I'm very lucky that I've been able to co-write with people who've helped me bring the lyrical side of what I want to say into it, because otherwise I just sing in gibberish, and then I get people to help me figure out what the gibberish actually meant. And so yeah.
Yeah. I would say an instrument's super important for kids. or
Yeah.
or whatever their creative thing
yeah,
is.
a dance class.
For some kid, it might be
right.
the paintbrush.
Try it all. I mean, this is why arts education in schools is vital. It's not an extracurricular. It's not an extra. It's not a luxury. It should be part of the educational system because it is as important, or in this world we're living in many ways more important than some of the other subjects, because it teaches people about our humanity. It teaches young people about their truest voice. It's not about whether they decide to be musicians or artists or dancers professionally. It's about using the arts as a tool to unlock those places in young people where, whether they live in an inner city where they're in a tough neighborhood, or whether they're at home and are coming from a home environment where they're not supported, or whether they're just going through the overall crappiness of school life. Sometimes sucks, and you feel, especially with social media and anonymous bullying and all that stuff, that you just have nothing to say, who wants to hear you, and you go inward. And when kids go inward, they go onto the wrong side of the fence, and that's not the kind of human we want out in the world. We want people who appreciate our equalities and the things that make us special, and I think the arts do that, and they certainly did that for me. And so I have a foundation called Find Your Life that's all about that, and is about making sure that those programs that we desperately need stay in schools. And so people can go to findyourlightfoundation.org if they want to learn more.
Yeah.
And it's very important.
It's a great group. And I can even just say for me as a teen, I went to a different school every year from 7th grade till I graduated.
Oh, so that's tough.
And being able to go home and play the piano,
Yeah.
I mean, what you're saying,
Yeah,
I hear you.
it
And
grounds you.
Or then even finding other kids that are into that same art.
Right.
Like we both want to be in the South Pacific, play together.
We're both from the same
Awesome.
planet.
Or whatever.
Yeah, it's a connector.
Yeah.
And, there are so many cliques in school, and so many, like the jocks hang with the jocks, and I was not part of that group. And
Me neither.
But when I went to an arts school, when I finally
Right.
went somewhere that had a solid arts program, where kids from all over the city, all different backgrounds, we all had this point of light of wanting to reach people through creativity and wanting to express ourselves that way. And there's a special thing that all young people or adults who had a great camp experience or art experience, like they know that feeling of like, oh, my people, I've met my people, and and it's a wonderful group to find. And my people that I met in that school, 10% of them have gone into the arts professionally, but 100% of them are the greatest people that I know because of that experience. And that's what it's about.
Well, I think you're a wonderful musician and
Thank you.
actor and all the other things you do.
I'm so glad we got to move beyond the high five at that concert.
Me too.
We got a new high five.
I love it.
Right on.
Very cool. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me
This was
here.
really fun.
I love what you guys do, and I appreciate the interview.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks for watching.